I am slowly reversing the symptoms of my MS. That's unheard of.
I've had MS since 1984. I was on a walker close to a wheelchair. I could no longer do the activities I enjoyed. I could not show and compete on my horses. I had excruciating sciatic nerve pain.
I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when I was 21 years old, 34 years ago. And I also have a son who is going to be 28, and he also has MS.
They see what I was a year ago and how I was barely walking. But now they see me and it's like I was, before I got sick. I'm starting to get back to that. I'm starting to get my size back and building muscle.
Woke up probably the first week I was patching, felt a sense of well-being all over, just felt happier, more joyful. I felt like I had a purpose, I had purpose in my life again. I had some hope.
I had already done a lot of research into stem cells. It seemed the only viable option for somebody in my situation. Second day, I put it on in the morning. I walked around the block. Now I carried the cane just in case, but I didn't use the cane while I was walking. I'm 104 days in. I gotta say, every day gets a little bit better.
I've been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis for almost 40 years. And I've experienced the whole gamut of the symptoms, from being blind and not being able to walk or walking with a walker, or I've had seizures before, and just a number of things. I have a lot of numbness. I've had a lot of numbness and vertigo for the last 10 years. And my laundry list.
My vision, I get checked every 3 months. My last check, I had marked improvement in my left eye, and I had no further decline in my right eye.
Restless leg syndrome, that has gone. It has departed. Brain fog has lifted.
I just want to say that I know that MS is a disease that absolutely no one understands. The doctors don't understand it. We don't understand it. And they just want to give you nothing but medication, which I just want to reach out to anyone that has MS or anything like that. Please give this a chance and let it work for you, because it really has changed my life.
Now, after the Lifewave, I feel like I have a second chance at life.
My pain was gone. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. These are things that I never, I'm sorry. Personally, I suffer with MS, and I had a lot of things going on, and I started writing everything down, but there were a lot of things that happened for me that were happening over time, and I didn't even realize. I really went to the patches initially because I Peloton, and so my hands were numb from riding the bike. The grip, I was gripping maybe too tightly, and so I was trying to wear X39 to see if my hands would go unnumb. So I was wearing them, and all of a sudden, 4 days into it, I realized that my gait, my walk, when I walked to the mailbox every day, I was no longer having a drop foot, which I was experiencing, probably for the last year and a half. So I've had MS for about 10 years, but that was something that happened 4 days in with just X39. So I wrote that down. I couldn't wait to write that down. Then
So just to clarify what a drop foot is in your gait, sometimes you can have some difficulty with one leg or the other. And she didn't have as much control with one foot. So it was almost like you were walking with a flipper on one foot and a high heel shoe on the other one. So the coordination just wasn't there. So that's what she means by the drop foot. It would just kind of flop down and slap as she was walking.
You would hear my foot slap the ground. It was quite annoying. So that's gone. When I wear the X39 patch, it's gone. Then go to the next week. So 13 days in, I started experiencing, I have leg pain and lower back pain at night. I have a lesion on my spine and it presses against the spine and it just causes pain. So during the day, I'm pretty good, but it's at nighttime that I have most of my pain. Well, 13 days in with just X39 again, I started sleeping better. My pain wasn't there. It would come and go. So Janice said, try Icewave, try Icewave. So I tried it and immediately, I mean, within probably minutes, my back pain went away. Okay, my leg pain was still there a little bit. Well, then I watched a call with Dr. Patty and I couldn't get enough of just learn. And I was watching Dr. Patty, who also suffers from the same disease. And I heard her talking about the full body patch, the full, I think that's what it's called. Is that right, Marcy?
Yeah, that's
Full
what she
body.
calls it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought, well, you know what? We only have one pack of Icewave. So I told David, we are going to have to order more because we are both using it. And Dr. Patty said she used 2 on the bottoms of her feet and then 2 like right here on your shoulders. So I thought, I'm doing it. I'm doing it tonight. So I tried it and I couldn't believe it. My pain was gone. My pain was gone. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. These are things that I never, I'm sorry.
No.
I never thought this little Band-Aid looking like thing would ever do anything.
Well, you know, it's interesting, Robin. It's like, you know, quality of life matters, and you reclaimed your quality of life.
I did.
You did. You don't, I mean, you do not have the flipper foot anymore.
I don't.
You don't.
And we go to Disney all the time and you can always know where I'm coming. You can hear it. But now you can't. I can sneak up on you.
Yeah.
I think she's going to take up ninja training next.
And that she can actually go to an event and use the restroom and be out in a minute instead of 20. I mean, you know, people are like, where did she go? You know, like that's like quality of life.
It's
like,
so crazy.
I was diagnosed with MS, primary progressive MS, in June of 2019. It was the fastest, most aggressive case my doctor had ever seen. Within a year, I couldn't walk. So that would be 2020. Starting in July of 2020, I started learning how to walk again. And then that just led to me meeting up with Jess, my good friend, and her telling me about the patches. And I started trying them and I saw immediate results automatically within the first actual month, really. So I went on a big road trip and my sleeping got a bunch better. My headaches went away. I had a ton more energy. I was walking 2 to 3 miles a day on that trip. And before that, I was lucky to get a mile a day, maybe on a good day. So those are the instant results. And there's been a lot more since. You know, I've been on them now for 9 months, 10 months. So there's a lot more to get into from that.
Okay, that's a great introduction. And we remember some of that excitement that you originally had when you came on months ago. And we want you to know that some people, like Adam, have immediate results. And because of this disease, which can be quite disabling, many others have to wait a period of time for cellular regeneration. So tell us what your protocol was at first, what was suggested, and how you started.
At first, I just started out just with X39, and then I used the Icewave for pain when I needed it, where I needed it. A lot of it was for my lower back, my knees, ankles. That's how I just started, was just straight up with the X39.
And we like to make sure that people know that the X39 is reparative, stem cell repair. That often doesn't happen overnight, but it's definitely one that builds. So while you're building, sometimes you might need a little bit of assistance with the other. And you chose Icewave. Tell us about that. How did it help you with using both of them?
The Lifewave helped a lot. I mean, I'm in constant pain, so it's just to relieve it a little bit is really great. Each day, I never know where my pain's going to be, where it's going to spike. So I would just pop it on there. Like I said, a lot of it was my lower back. I have knee issues, I have ankle issues. So I would just throw it on whatever was really bothering me that day, and it would take the edge off for me. And that's all I was looking for. And then I could go about my business and go about my day as normal.
So I've been impressed with how you have used the Lifewave to just do exactly that. Take the topper off of the pain while you continued so passionately and committed to the X39 to watch for that restorative health.
Correct.
Other
Yes.
people have noticed this in your life. Tell us about that. Some of the things that you've been able to share.
Oh, some of the stuff I've been able to share. I know, well, I've been sharing out with my MS group, my MS support groups. You know, some people have tried it. They've had some good results. So I've been telling people about it as much as I can. But even just, I mean, people just that see me, they see what I was a year ago and how I was barely walking and how I was, I was a puny little guy. I was a big old string bean, 6'5" and could get blown over by a strong wind. So there wasn't much to me. But now they see me and it's like I was, before I got sick. I'm starting to get back to that. I'm starting to get my size back and building muscle. And the biggest thing for me it's been going to the gym. I was going to physical therapy and all that, which, really helped me how to walk again, which obviously is gigantic when you can't walk and then you can again. And so I just kind of pushed it from there. And I quote unquote graduated from physical therapy. And she says, well, you can do this on your own. And I was like, all right, well, I will. So I started doing it, and I really just started focusing just on my legs for a little bit, just doing the same things I was doing at therapy, keep my legs strong, keep me upright, stop me from shaking, my fatigue, all that. And then one day I was like, well, I'm going to try for upper body now. Let's see what I can do. So that has turned into 6 months of 6 days a week at the gym now.
Wow.
Religiously, without fail. Every day. And this week, actually, yesterday was the first day that I started my 7th day. So I'm now going to go for 7 days a week. And early on, man, I couldn't even do physical therapy and yoga on back-to-back days. Like I would do one and I would need a whole day of rest in order to do the other one. So now my recovery time from all this has been just amazing. And I did start using different patches now. I got onto the X49, some glutathione, carnosine. So I felt it was safe to move up and try different ones. And the results have just been incredible.
I used to ride dirt bikes. I used to go hunting all the time, did cowboy action shooting. I was diagnosed with a progressive MS in 2014. It progressed rather quickly. I lost a lot of things. I lost my peripheral vision. I gained a lot of weight. I had real bad muscle spasticity. I had major digestive issues. And usually when you have one autoimmune disease, you get another. I also had RA to go along with it. And my life really sucked. I had no quality of life, couldn't really do anything, sat around in the house. And I gotta say, my friend Joanne Nealis introduced me to the patches. She called me and said, you need to try this. You don't have anything to lose. I was at a point where I didn't have anything to lose. I was researching stem cells, but they were expensive. So I tried it. And lo and behold, going on 8 months, my vision, I get checked every 3 months. My last check, I had marked improvement in my left eye, and I had no further decline in my right eye. My thyroid, I have hypothyroidism. My numbers on my tests, TSH, T3, T4, T3, what all that stuff, was always out of whack, even with medications. My thyroid tests are all normal now. Matter of fact, they reduced my levothyroxine. I've lost 42 pounds, even through the holiday season. My digestive is improving. I'm eating solid foods, doing a lot better in that department, still healing in that department. I've gone from 27 meds down to 5. My doctor didn't believe me at first, called it a transdermal patch, told me I couldn't do it because I had an overactive immune system. Whatever you do, don't do it. 3 months later, that was June, 3 months later, I walked into my appointment, and I hadn't done that in 6 years. I was in a wheelchair. I could get around the house, but if I went anywhere, I was in my chair. I don't use my chair anymore.
And you walked in that door and said, "Look at me."
Look at me. When I went, and they couldn't believe it. So we worked our way off the medications. You know, I go to the grocery store now by myself. And if the husband goes, he tells me to slow down, and I'm telling him to hurry up. He just giggled. I went hunting this last year for the first time in 6 years, held a rifle, shot a rifle, climbed a deer stand, had a great experience. Went to Orlando this last year, walked over 10,000 steps a day, didn't know I could do it. I could go on and on. You know, the fatigue went away almost, you know, within the first week or so. My energy, I'm like an Energizer bunny now.
And what happened to me before was a number of things, things like seizures, MS, which is multiple sclerosis, aggressive spinal tumor, which I had to have surgery on once. And now after the Lifewave, I feel like I have a second chance at life. Like
Who's
I can
behind
get
you
out
saying,
and do
yeah?
stuff.
Is that your husband saying, yeah?
Yeah, no, he couldn't help himself because I was housebound for years, for gosh, several years now.
What
I
do you
haven't
mean
been
by
able to
that?
do anything.
Not be able to
I
do
haven't been able to
anything.
do anything. I've
Because it
either
would hurt.
in my chair or in bed.
You were in your chair or in bed.
Yeah.
And what's happening now? What's happening now? What are you doing now?
Well, besides planning our first vacation, I'm actually able to do things with the family. I'm able to play with my son, take him to the movie theaters. And before I couldn't handle the movie theaters because I had to keep taking my glasses off because of the MS was messing up my eyesight for some reason. But now with the patches, it doesn't do that anymore. It's weird.
So wait a minute. So you now are watching movies because the MS, which was messing up your eyesight, is not messing it up. So you can watch a movie with your kids.
Yes, exactly. And the pain doesn't stop me from being there either.
So Sandy.
Yes.
I recall with this MS thing.
Yeah.
That you have slowly but surely been getting more and more mobile and doing things you couldn't do before. Is that right?
That's right. Slowly is the operative word, though.
But you're going in the right way, though.
I'm going in the right way. Now, here's where the brain glitch happened, right? I thought that I was going to say, and look what I can do now. And I was going to remember to have my bottle of water and open it for the camera because, I mean, fine motor skills that we take for granted. Those of you that have challenges with fine motor skills, you know, you just can't open them. I can open a bottle of water now, but again, it's not like an I'm healed thing. It's in progress. So what did I remember to bring the bottle to show? No, but just trust me, I can open a bottle of water now, you know?
Yes.
But
and grip strength, that's kind of falls on
yes.
grip strength. And so grip strength is one of the measurements, right?
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
getting
I
better.
I do my exercises every day. I mean, it's not like just like patch me and let it happen to me. I mean, but what's interesting with the patch is I've got more motivation to take care of my body. And this is sort of like this emotional journey on the patch that we don't talk about as much. Yes, if you want to talk about symptoms reversing, my balance is stronger. I don't get dizzy. Um, See, the thing with MS is you hurt everywhere. So, and you don't want to be like a whiner or a complainer. So you just sort of go inward and you just don't feel good. Well, at least that's my version of it. People have, every version is different. So, the fact that I'm like sitting here and having fun with you, I mean, it's just like, I'm just more playful. It's just, I'm having a great old time.
I put the patch on, the first X39 patch on April 1st. I have been pain-free ever since. I have not used any pain medication. And I'm sleeping better because sleep was a big issue for me. So I'm sleeping better. My grandma used to call them liver spots, but the age spots that women get on their arms, they're like brown little spots. Those are fading. My right hand was partially paralyzed, and you can see I am moving every single finger. And this is just since April 1st. So my son is coming here Tuesday and he has MS, so he's getting patched.
And this is just amazing that you've had, pain. You're telling us you've had pain for 34 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Your body has been numbed out.
Yes.
And
Yes.
in one day, you had no pain, all the pain.
From the very first day I put it on, I have had zero pain, zero. And today I planted my garden before this meeting. So, yeah, it's great.
And you did say that is because you had a lot of numbing and neuropathy. Is that
Yes.
starting to change?
No neuropathy. Well, it's not neuropathy, it's a numbness and
I have the
tingling.
neuropathy.
Yes, Steve's the one with neuropathy. Yeah. The numbness and tingling, I'm noticing I can, I was numb, so I couldn't feel things. I had to be careful. I would always burn myself or cut myself, not realize. And I'm noticing that I'm feeling things with my hands, which is amazing because it's kind of strange after so many years of not having any feeling, but it's exciting. And if that's just the beginning, just since April 1st, I can only.
And I know there's something else you mentioned to me about your eye.
Yes, when you take that many steroids, it fogs up the fluid in your eyes. So I had to have cataract surgery on my right eye because they cannot fix that without removing the fluid. So they take the lens with it and do a cataract surgery. They replace the lens. And I wear triple bifocals, and I've noticed that my glasses aren't working so well. So I think my eyes are improving. Sometimes I have to take them off, and it's a miracle. Yeah, it's a miracle.
So I use the X39, have used it for, I believe, maybe 100 to 120 days.
Okay.
And I have had things happen that I didn't expect. I started on the patches to see if I could start to process a little bit more motion that I can't process. And just to make sure that I stay fully mobile, and I live in a 3-level home by myself, and I want to always make sure I can run up and down the stairs. I definitely fluidly run through my house. And then the other thing was I do Pilates. And so for the last couple of years, I would always have swollen ankles at night. And I thought, well, that's from working out. That's from, becoming of a more interesting age. You just start seeing things like that.
Right.
And I just chalked it up to working out and age. And now I don't have any swelling in my ankles ever. And I had a scar. I have a flap injury on my left shin, and I had 20 stitches and 10 staples. That scar honestly is completely gone. And it was problematic. It had an infection. I had to have a biopsy on it. They put me on this really expensive cream for like a year.
Yeah.
And they said, this is just the way it's going to be. Get a lifetime prescription for this cream. And when this comes back, just start putting it on. Well, now there's nothing there. There's no, it would get this big layer of red like skin cells on it.
Right.
And everything is gone. The whole scar is gone. And it was at least 8 inches. So that's gone.
Well, I was misdiagnosed with spinal meningitis when I was 11. And that's because a lot of dudes on here that do have MS would know that if you had an older doctor, he'd say MS is a woman's disease. Men do not get multiple sclerosis. And I was told that by several doctors. And a lady doctor told me in 2013, because I ended up in the hospital, that it was multiple sclerosis. And she wasn't applying any of the old-fashioned stimulus like men can't get MS or you're not set for it. It's something other than that. So I actually had it since I was 11. But as an 11-year-old, they bounced back and forth. And that was the beginning of the end. So I never actually had like real feeling, like feeling something soft or something hot or something sharp. You have those feelings all the time. I didn't have those feelings until the X39 patch got put on.
Wow.
She gave me 5 patches. And on that first one, it took about, what was it, about an hour? Maybe an hour and a half. I was sitting, I wasn't having any of the shakes. And then I got up and I walked down the steps. Now that was the beginning. Like I could actually move my leg for a moment when I stood up without the cane, and I got over to it. I mean, I still hugged the rail, but it was the first day, and that was climbing mountains for me.
Yes. And then what happened after?
On the second day, because I followed the X39 stimulant, like you put it on for 12 hours, take it off for 12 hours. The second day, I put it on in the morning. I walked around the block. Now I carried the cane just in case, but I didn't use the cane while I was walking. And I got around the block. And I can't explain it to you, man. It just.
I know. It's something that we all can't explain, but we're just appreciating the results. And I had the pleasure of meeting Chris a little bit over 60 days ago in Florida. So I saw within my own eyes how he was walking and moving around. And Chris, what has happened since in the last couple of months now, since we haven't?
Well, a month in, I decided to do the MS walk because when I tried to do it in Pensacola, I ended up in the hospital, like right before the walk. So I signed up for it. I talked to the people with it. It was a virtual walk. You go do your walk, but you post it live, sort of like this. And I was a team captain, and I raised $300 some odd for MS studies. And I got a T-shirt that I would love to show you guys. Next time I'll show it.
Okay.
But I went for a mile walk in the MS walk, 1 month into using the patches.
Wow.
Without no cane, by the way. There's no cane in this. I have not used my cane since I've been on the patches. That should be emphasized. Like I don't go for long runs, but I don't need the cane like I used to.
Before the patch, I know that my pH was at 6.25, like pretty much all the time. I was like below baseline, and it was like really frustrating because I couldn't get it above baseline, and then or above like a balanced pH. And so then immediately within 24 hours of putting the X39 on, my pH was 7.25.
Let's see, anything else? Did I say no more constipation at all? No more.
Wow.
Bladder, so much improved. Less visits to the bathroom. I could hold it longer. So much better, so much. And my skin is 50% improved at least, and feels like skin again. It's smooth, it's soft, it feels like it's more firm. I have a glow to it where it was very dull before.
One of the other diagnoses that you had was fibromyalgia and MS.
Yes.
And in the midst of all of that and all these different autoimmunes that you've been diagnosed through over the years, over those 18 years, you had spent most of your time in bed, like 4 out of 5 days
Yes.
you were in bed, and you were basically in isolation, and just your husband would ask you, let's go out because you told me he was a sanguine.
Mhm.
And he likes to socialize, and you'd say, just go on amongst yourself. Share with us how well your husband took care of you in those times and how he doesn't have to now.
I'm telling you, every time I give this testimony, I say kudos to my absolutely fabulous husband, because there were so many days that he had to just get up and go on. We pastor a church and things have to be taken care of. And I would say, take on your day. Don't worry about me. Well, at some point, he's bringing me something to eat. He's checking to see if I need something to drink. What can I do for you, honey? He just took such good care of me and put up with that for 18 years.
That's a
18.
long time. That's a long time to
It
not
is
feel
a
that,
very long.
including the 3.5 weeks you said that you had gone through a detox and you were out in bed. I mean, you've gone through so much to attempt to figure out how your body could function properly. And now you're alive, you're productive, and you're back in the game of life.
Oh, yes. I enjoy people again. I enjoy going out to eat again. We do a lot of things together.
My husband so much wanted to help me that we actually spent $20,000 to go to Mexico to get stem cell injections, which did absolutely nothing for me. So I started getting more and more depressed because nothing was working. And it wasn't until the X39 patch that things actually started to change for me. And it's changing my life. After 48 hours on only the X39, my sciatic pain was gone 100%. My back pain was gone 100%. And I walked out one day into the kitchen with my walker, and I thought, oh, something feels different here. And I let go of my walker and walked to the coffee pot without my walker. And I was absolutely in shock that I was able to do that and able to walk as far as I did. So anyone with MS, please do not wait. Please take advantage of this wonderful patch.